that's some of my favorite success stories is people that never saw themselves as leaders. People that might just be a little bit introverted, but they were amazing DSPs. They're just genuinely kind, caring, giving people. So talking to them and letting them see how they could lead by example and seeing them grow and blossom as just people, these are adult men and women who I get to see not just our VIPs, but our employees grow and blossom and develop their skills and just become leaders that they didn't foresee happen.
Welcome to IDD Leader, where human services leaders grow their impact, lead with heart, and build the workplaces our field deserves. I'm your host, Nate Beers. Let's dive in. Do you feel the tension between growing your organization, but also trying to make sure that in that scaling of growth that you don't lose some of the valuable heart that you have? Well, if so, you're going to love today's conversation. It's with Mindy Bowen and Kate Smith. They're from CARES of Western PA. Their organization has grown from 4 employees when it launched 10 years ago to nearly 100 employees today. And yet, in the midst of that growth, they've been able to maintain a real family feel and stay true to their values through it all. They'll talk about some tactics and strategies as it relates to mentoring new staff and some of the behind-the-scenes look at how they've gone about this process. Today's conversation is part 1 of 2 parts of my interview with them, and I am sure you are going to enjoy it. So buckle up, and without further ado, enjoy today's conversation. Can each of you introduce yourselves, your role at CARES, and what keeps you in this field year after year?
I'm the director and co-owner of CARES of Western PA. What keeps me in this field, probably what got me into this field, is just a passion to help others. I saw a deficit in day services, especially in Western PA, compared to where I grew up in Eastern PA. And I did life sharing and couldn't find a day program that was suitable for the individual I was serving. And it just inspired me to leave my prior career as an attorney and open up CARES. And here we are almost 10 years later.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm Kate Smith. I'm the assistant director for a regional of art day programs. Much like Mindy, the need to help a population that doesn't have a big voice. That's always been my drive, helping people and being their voice. That's been one of my biggest, things to drive home in this field. And just, being able to put a smile on their face. That's what gets me to stay in. That's the biggest thing for me, I think, seeing the joy.
Yeah.
Every time I'm about to leave, somebody comes in the office and has that big smile on its feeling, it's worth it. I can't leave this field. There's nothing that could be that bad that overpowers the power of their smiles.
Yeah. Every day that I'm having a bad day, and I know I can come to work and it's going to save me, and somebody's going to do something, or we're going to help solve a problem, and it's going to turn my day around. So.
Yeah, it's super rewarding. I mean, I think that's the draw for many, many individuals that are in this field, is that it's so rewarding to see lives being impacted.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, CARES, I think you just had said a few minutes ago, I can't remember if that was before I think it was once we started recording, but it's celebrating 10 years, right? You guys are about 10 years old here in Western PA. Can you share the story of how it started? And then also, from what I understand, it's grown a lot. What do you think has fueled that growth? So kind of both of those angles.
I'll take the start, and then Kate can take the growth because she's been a big part of that. But it started, I literally was doing life sharing. If you're not familiar with life sharing, it's like foster care, but for adults with intellectual disabilities. So my husband and I grew up doing it, and then my husband and I did it after I graduated from school. And we were looking everywhere for a day program that was suitable for him. He's somebody who likes to be active. He thrives on being active. At that time, it was before community participation supports. So most of the day programs in Western PA were in the facility. A lot of facility time, very little outside of the facility. And he was not doing well there. He wasn't thriving. And my mom, who's been in this field my whole life, and my aunt had started CARES in Eastern PA, and I begged for them to come out here. I'm like, we need your programs out here. Can you please spread to Western PA? And they're like, we would be happy to if you head it up because we live 5 hours away. We can't be there day to day to make sure everything's going well. At that time, I was an attorney, and it was a big life decision moment, and decided to hang up my attorney hat and put on my human service hat. And here we are. We opened up with 1 day program in Mars. And not to be a spoiler alert for the news Kate's going to share, but we have 11 sites currently, and we're about to open 3 additional.
Yeah. Yeah, growth has been a huge part of this. I mean, we're in, Mindy said, like this untapped area for community participation supports. I mean, there is so many folks that need reach. I mean, we've had steady growth, I feel like, throughout the years. Especially we had a surge there during COVID, and it's kind of fizzed back out. But we have there's just such an untapped area, this whole side of the state. We're currently opening up a site in Zealand Opal and Newcastle, so totally different areas. Then we're opening up a site in Penn Hill. So those are our 3 new sites opening. So we're about to be 14. So we've gone from 3 assistant directors, and we've had to hire 2 new assistant directors to head on that growth, just to kind of maintain that standard of care that we have. And it has been truly amazing to go through those processes. I've opened a couple of new sites myself, and see all the people, get all the referrals. We never thought we'd be having people in Washington or North Versailles, that like to point out some of the further of our folks. And that's, I mean, growth it's been phenomenal. And we have some kind of sites on the horizon for Armstrong County and Westmoreland County, who we're not in those counties currently. So the growth has not stopped. I don't think we see it stopping anytime soon. And it's just, again, all that untapped potential location wise and folks that need the services. That's why we're here.
Yeah, and for listeners that might not be familiar with the Pittsburgh area, basically what she's describing is kind of scattered all over the greater Pittsburgh metro area. And I want to lean into this, what you're sharing about the growth. The need for services is usually not a question. There's often long waiting lists. There's people wanting to get services. So in general, I think any leaders at other organizations are going to resonate with, well, yeah, there's people that want services that we can't even say yes to right now. How have you been able to keep up with like building your staff, like to be able to keep opening new sites and to be able to handle all the referrals and the interest that's been there?
Definitely the hardest part of opening new sites is staffing it, onboarding these new people. So we try to keep each site relatively small, by relatively small, under 30 participants, and we do a 1-to-3 ratio, so that's 10 staff and a supervisor. So when we split off and we open up a new site, we kind of split an existing site and keep the same staff with those VIPs. So there's some level of these people know what they're doing, they know our culture, they know what our expectations are, and then they're there to mentor and train the new staff that we add. So we don't just open up a new site and start with all new people. We really are in the split business. We split an existing site and then repopulate 2 sites instead of opening just a brand new site with all new people. So that helps because we can start the new site with, existing people that we have while the new people are onboarding and training. We also do a lot to try and attract employees. First of all, we're Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, closed on holidays. It's a very amenable schedule for this field. I'm sure, as you know, a lot of other providers can't offer those types of schedules because they're more into the residential services or providing evening, weekend supports. So our staff really relish in that and find it refreshing that, all of our VIPs go home at 4 o'clock and therefore there's no forced overtime. So we have a kind of a leg up and an advantage on some of the other providers there. It's an unfair advantage, but we definitely are able to capitalize on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
just to, I guess, highlight what you're sharing, I think that sounds like a really smart idea with the way that you're doing the growth, where you're kind of splitting it into 2 spots so that you have that continuity. Because that was one of my questions: is how can you keep the culture the same but you're not starting from scratch. It might be a new geography or a new physical location, but if about half the people there have
Right.
already been with you, they already have that, like they already know the systems and they already have the culture and everything.
Right. And if we were opening up a site that there's like a participant that lives, like in Zelienople, for example, we're going to start them at their closest location. So if we're going to might start them at Butler to kind of get them transitioned, to get them to know the program if the program isn't open yet. So we always give them the opportunity, if we're able to do that, to also kind of get them the exposure so it's not complete culture shock once the new site opens.
Mm.
And we also like to promote within. So, like, maybe we're promoting a staff to supervisor. So, trying to keep that, that familiarity strong. We definitely like to do that. We've only opened up one site that has not been a split. And I think we've seen most success from our splits, again, with that being familiar, knowing the program, setting everybody up for success. So like they already know the rules, so they've already been to Butler. So or they've already been to whatever program they're splitting off to. So they know the rules, so they're going to be more successful when we do that split.
Yeah. Did you just kind of come up with that model, or had you seen that somewhere before?
It's what my mom and aunt did in Eastern PA. So I can't speak to, how they came up with it. Quite honestly, it's just when I was getting into the CARES culture, I went out east for a couple weeks and really shadowed, mentored, delve in with both feet, and it's how they recommended opening new sites then, and I've copied it because it does really work well. And it helps us to promote from within as well. It gives us an opportunity, somebody that was maybe a team lead at this site, and now we need another program specialist so they can step up and lead this site and do it from a different role and give them an opportunity for advancement.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. I think that's a great model. However your mom and however they came up with it, I'm not sure, but I think it seems really solid. Um, so CARES is kind of known for leaning into staff appreciation, and I mean, I in a previous conversation I heard about you have an annual uh, like a special dinner, holiday celebration, summer picnic, different things like this. So, what do those kinds of traditions mean to your team? And maybe you could share a moment from one of those events that kind of captures the spirit of your culture.
To me, Harris is an extension of my family. Like I said, it's a family owned business. So my aunt is no longer involved with West. She's still very involved with East and Central. It's just she didn't want to come out here as much. So my mom and I are the owners of it currently. And we started very small here with just, 4 employees. And it has grown significantly since then. But I still try to keep a family environment here. We celebrate holidays together. We do the Gateway Clipper every year. It's been our tradition to do our holiday party, and everybody's invited to bring their families. And that's something so important to me. I think making that connection and having everybody meet my family, my husband and my 2 children, and me getting to meet theirs and getting to know them just creates a bond and a connection that goes beyond just appreciation. I know what they're struggling with at home. I know if their kid's sick. I know what's going on with them so that we can kind of try and meet them where they're at and help them through whatever's going on outside of just these 4 walls.
Yeah. Can can you just describe what the Gateway Clipper is? I mean, I
Oh.
immediately get a picture. I get a picture of what you're talking about by this, but this might be kind of a unique thing and it's for someone that's maybe not from Pittsburgh.
It's a river boat. So it's a very large river boat. We have Santa and Mrs. Claus come. We have a buffet. We have a DJ. Kids love dancing with Santa. The adults enjoy the music and the open bar. And everybody just really comes together and celebrates the holidays together on the Gateway Clipper every year. And that's just one of the events that we do. Kate can talk about it more from an employee standpoint and the other
Oh,
things that we do.
yeah, I mean, talk about servant leadership and investing in your people. And I, I say this all the time. I've never been more taken care of as an employee ever in my career. And it's something, it's part, yes, it's part of, getting to know who you are dealing with, and investing in those people, and knowing what gets them to tick, knowing that, hey, you've got that strong family bond here, at Cares, and being able to let that bleed over into your leadership. And honestly, I mean, Mindy's a wonderful role model, and everything that she's done, that model of taking care of our folks, I mean, we take that all the way through and through with that Gateway Clipper. I mean, I've got to meet her family. I get to meet everybody that we work with in their family. Such a unique time, and it's just that, again, one of those tokens of appreciation that you're not going to get at your typical agency, with that type of family drive. Maybe you might be able to bring your spouse, but the fact that I can bring my mom and dad, it's wonderful. They're a huge part of my life, and being able to meet everybody and spend time with everybody and see all the happiness and the family, again, kind of like Mindy said, to see all that come together for the holiday time. It's amazing. It's very, you kind of get to see people, like, see that you've got the right people with you there, when you seeing part of their vulnerability, part of what they're doing, again, what makes them tick. It's truly amazing. And I'm so grateful for it. I've never been showered in so much appreciation in my life. And that's what makes us want to stay. I want to go back out in the field for Mindy because of what Mindy does for me. And that, again, is that servant leadership mentality, I think, in the investment. If Mindy didn't know that I had a son or know my family, I wouldn't want to work for her. So that's what makes this really special, I think.
I think I'm really hearing community as a big piece
Yeah.
of what's happening. That it's from the staff to one another. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like when you have that community, you work together so much better as a team. There's that team approach at our sites, and we preach a team culture and not just talk about it. We show from the top down that we are a team and every part of the team is important. And we really, I think, get back what we put into it. I genuinely, all of our supervisors put their heart into their sites and they get it back. I see it from the staff. They respect their supervisors and everybody just works together as a team. When there's short staff days, everybody's happy to pitch in and help because they know their supervisor genuinely cares about them as well.
I'm noticing that you seem like not really one of those leaders that's kind of in the ivory tower. From what I think I'm picking up here, that you seem really connected to the employees. That there doesn't seem like there's a huge gap there, which I know can be a big challenge.
Yes, I that's my biggest drawback of as we continue to grow. I've always been proud of knowing everybody that works here and knowing them well, not just knowing their names and I do payroll, so I know everybody's names and what site they're at, but really genuinely knowing them. And as we continue to grow, we're at just under, I think we're at 98 employees right now. It just gets more and more challenging as the numbers go up to for me to stay as connected with everyone. So I have a lot of stress about that, and it bothers me if somebody walks in the office and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to ask them about their weekend if I don't know? Did they spend it at a ball field with their kids, or are they single? I don't know that, and then it drives me crazy.
Hmm.
So I've taken to making sure the culture gets passed on as I maybe get more removed from our front line, and making sure that I'm still doing that with our leadership team and with each of our site supervisors, so they pass that same sentiment down.
Yeah, that's powerful. I mean, replicating that as a value, that to get to know your staff and to care, find out what matters to them. And because yeah, once you scale to a certain size, it's not it's not reasonable for you to
I know,
to know
but
that
it's
about everyone.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It upsets me because the like Christmas dinner, and we do an employee appreciation dinner every year. Those nights are some of my favorite times. I also really enjoy, we do a VIP appreciation picnic. So it's kind of like tied in my heart, spending the day with just it's one of the few times all of our VIPs get together. And then when all of our staff and their family get together, they're just really rewarding days for me to see it, just how many lives we're impacting on both end of things, employees and VIPs.
Absolutely. You've made some big changes based directly on staff feedback. like upgrading the vehicle fleet or kind of even your record keeping. I was curious, can you share a little bit more about that or share a story of a time when staff input really changed the way that you operate?
Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So I think that, we always are focused, we always send surveys out. We're trying to listen to the people that are on the ground. Those are the things that I think that has helped our culture be that family dynamic. Part of taking care of our folks is listening to them, what works, what doesn't. And I think that the most poignant one to me is that some of these folks were saying that we were staying in the Stone Age, staying paper, and that it was difficult and that it was time consuming, and it would really help if we made some moves to go electronic. And the overwhelming feedback we got to do that, basically having DSPs that have worked in the industry that have been on electronic health record systems, saying that it was going to make their job easier was enough to get us to make some change. You know, it's not happening overnight. It's one of those things that we've kind of kept them updated throughout the process. And I think that the communication of that and keeping them in the loop of, hey, we're working on it. We're onboarding half of us. We're trying to get this rolled out to make it easier for you guys, and just kind of telling them, hey, what you guys asked for, we're going to try to get for you. I think that was really important to everybody, and just kind of, again, drove home our philosophy of taking care of our folks and doing what we can to make change within reason, honestly. And it was something that we've been looking to do and improve on and make things easier and streamline them. It's some part of what we wanted to do anyway, but it just ended up working out to meet their needs. It always takes a little time, and just communicating that it takes a little time has been, I think, crucial. Telling them we're working on it, just bear with us. And I think that they're really happy to see how it's turned out so far. Hopefully, I think it's made all of our lives a little easier, and we're hopefully going to be in the next week here onboarding everybody into that system. So we've got half of us on right now. So It's really been great.
So this is really current, right? This moment is happening.
This is just happening.
Okay.
Yeah, like real
Fantastic.
time.
Fantastic. And so for other leaders, what do you think makes a difference then between staff just kind of feeling like they're surveyed, because I think everybody does surveys, versus that they're actually heard?
I think letting them know. No matter what the survey results come back with, we go back to them with, this is what you told us, and this is what we're going to do about it. And sometimes, unfortunately, there's nothing we're going to do about it. They want to change ODP regulations. Well, so do I. So, I mean, there's nothing I could really do about that, but I encourage them to write to their legislators and let them know their struggles. But no matter how small the change is, we address it. We tell them why we can or cannot change it, why we do things the way that we do, and if we can change it, we do. We've gotten so many good ideas from the surveys. Our whole mentor program stemmed from staff surveys. We asked them, after onboarding, what went well, what could have went better, and we kept tweaking our mentor program until it is what it is today, and we keep changing it. It's a fluid thing, and we let them know that, we want to just keep getting better, and the people in the leadership room don't have all the answers. We need your input so we can keep improving what we're doing for your sake and for the VIP's sake. And letting them know what you're doing about things is, I think, the most important part of it. Because if we make a change behind the scenes and we don't let them all know that we made this change because of you, they don't know that they were heard. They just think, oh, they agreed with my idea or whatever. No, it's because of you. It's because you were brave enough to bring this to the table and let us know something that's not going great.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Can you describe the mentor program? I'd love to hear what that's all about.
So we have mentors at all of our sites, and now newly added in each of our roles. So for each level, there is somebody that we deem to be the expert. So there's DSPs, there's a mentor for program specialists, there's now mentors for the ADs. And when we onboard into that new role, this person kind of takes them under their wing for the first period of time. And it varies. It depends if the person has experience in the field or is brand new to the field, how long we mentor. But they walk them through, they shadow them, they go through our policies, our procedures, our forms. They're their first point of contact if they have little questions. Big questions still absolutely go to your supervisor. If it's HR related, go to HR. But they're there, they've done the job, they know the job in and out, and we've trained them to be trainers. And it gives them that first connection, that first person that, this person's doing what I'm doing, and they can tell them the good, the bad, the ugly, and what to expect and how to handle different situations. They know the VIPs at that site, which is so important. We can't have HR training on behavioral supports plans. HR doesn't know the VIPs, doesn't know what works, what doesn't work. So when we have somebody new at the site, the people that have really been there and done it are the ones we want our new employees spending time on.
Yeah, we've all had everybody kind of has been mentored a little bit differently. Like Mindy has mentored me, and then now, like she said, we've had evolution, and we have the mentors for ADs, because now there's multiple ADs, and we keep growing with that, and the mentors for the program specialist and the staff. It's really a program that has helped kind of get those folks that are just starting and get them comfortable and get them to be able to stay. I feel like we've changed that mentor program up a little bit, where we maybe expose them to the field a little bit sooner to see if, hey, this is for you or not, trying to make change, to see if we can get people to stay a little bit longer, the right people to stay. So we've made a lot of changes with that, and it's honestly essential to how we operate at this point, having those points of contact and those trainers. It's security blanket almost. Hey, I know what I'm doing, and I know I can talk to this person about it. It's really awesome.
The right people staying, especially people that haven't been in this field before. We used to have them do all the required paper trainings first and, sit in the office kind of doing that. We don't do that anymore. Our staff and our mentors told us, let's do this reverse. Let's take them out on the first day. They're with HR doing, the paperwork. But then the second day, we have them shadowing in the field so they could see what the job is. Because you could describe it to them 1,000 times. Nobody really knows what's involved until you do it. So
Absolutely.
Their second day, they're shadowing out in the community and getting a feel for whether this is a good fit for them. And our mentors giving us feedback of, there's a lot of red flags or there's no red flags. So we could, let this stuff come to a head before we're a month in on somebody and have to start all over.
That makes a lot of sense to me, even from like the employee experience perspective. How fun is it to go through like hours and hours and hours of training? I mean, it's just not that fun, even if it's a well-done training. I mean, it would have to be over the top exceptional to be a lot of fun. And I know the ODP trainings, the regulatory trainings, often are not that exciting. They're not designed to be.
Right.
And so when you start someone with that, they could be in a week or whatever and still have kind of no idea what the job is. So, and they now are like less engaged than they were probably when they first showed up. But if you do it the way you're doing it, this makes a lot of sense for how that's going to increase the engagement of a new hire, especially someone new to the field. Like, oh, this is what this looks like. And, as they're then going through the trainings, they can connect the dots a lot more because they've actually seen like, how that might play out, or at least they have some idea of it. So that's cool. That's really cool.
It's an exciting evolution that's happened. You think you have the answer the first time, and then you change it, and it's like, now we got it. And then it's like, no, we change it again, and we keep evolving, and it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, no, lots of continuous improvement, and the results are, speaking for themselves, I think. And speaking of results, every provider I've ever talked to, it's a struggle. The staffing is a struggle at some level. Now, some are, doing real well, and then some it's a bigger struggle. How's that going for CARES when it comes to your turnover rate or your average length of tenure or these kinds of things?
Ebbs and flows. We go through a year process, and it's like, that year was really good. We had like next to no turnover. We're stable. Everything's good. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's just mass turnover in a period of a month, and then it stabilizes again. So we kind of have growing pains, and it ebbs and flows. But overall, we've been pretty successful at keeping the right people. We have a lot of people that have been with us since near the beginning,
Hmm.
and it's a great core group, and it's really good at keeping the culture that we strive to have here, and having those core people stay and just pass it on to the new people. And the turnover that we've had, it's, I think, over 80% is in the first 3 months.
Hmm.
So if we can get the right people, and we all agree that this person's a great fit for us and they want to stay with here, they think it's a good fit for them, they stay. But in that first 3 months, we see heavy turnover, and it's frustrating, and you feel like you're wasting time and you just going through the motions to try and find these right people, but it's a necessary problem, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. We try to find the trends, and sometimes you can't find them. Kind of like Mindy said, we'll go through a year and it'll be great. We'll have great retention, and it like she said, it ebbs and flows. And I think part of promoting from within and having those right people in place and the investment. I mean, sometimes people don't stay long enough to see the investment because they're not the right people. I think buying into the process and doing things the CARES way. I mean, we have a standard here that you haven't been able to physically see much, Nate, but this is the most upstanding. Um, we're very much so going for rule following the rules. We're doing the right thing, doing what makes sense. And that, I mean, that's again, I think part of the allure to stay is that we have this great morale and we are doing things by the book and doing it right. And that's, I think, that something that, again, when we're looking for new folks, that we're hoping to find that or find that we can mold somebody into that. Um, whether it's creating a new division or create or help finding the right person to do a job because the other person's retiring. Um, and I think we've taken a different approach. I mean, ads are interviewing for hr, where we, sometimes you think that's bizarre, but we're working hand in hand with hr. It makes sense. And we need to be able to trust that person, be able to have faith that they can do the job. So I think we have uh, changed what we've done and did what makes sense when we're hiring those people and trying to keep those people. And again, like I said, sometimes they don't buy into the process, and that's when we're trying to, hire quickly and get the right people in and keep them and invest in all of those things. But sometimes you got to fire quickly if they're not the
Oh,
right
absolutely.
folks.
Yeah. If you don't mind my asking, do you know like around where your vacancy rate has been hovering?
Vacancy rate is very low. We fill positions pretty quickly. Right now, I think we have 3 open DSP positions, and they're due to growth.
Yeah.
Um, so our vacancy rates stay very low. We very seldom need to hire a large group, unless right now, when we're going to be opening 3 sites, I'm sure we'll have a
Sure.
number of vacancies posted. But so the vacancy rate isn't the problem. It's that initial turnover that we struggle with, that I wish I had a magic fix for.
And so, yeah, this is really fascinating to me. When you have a low vacancy rate, one of the things that seems to a common thread is then you can really keep the standards that you have. When the vacancy rate is really high, it kind of starts that sick cycle where it's like, oh my gosh, we kind of need warm bodies. We need,
Hmm.
like, we have to have coverage, or else we're just going to start turning people away. And once you do that, I mean, that's sort of like a black hole because they're probably going to find another provider. Um,
We have that conversation regularly because sometimes, one site feels it more than another. And we have to talk to that program specialist and be like, I know it's hard right now. You're going through the trenches right now. We're here to support you, but we can't just fill with a warm body. We're not lowering our standards. We need to do things the CARES way, as Kate calls it. Um, we need to make sure we're still by the book. We're following the rules. We're not cutting any corners, and our VIPs are safe and happy as a result. So when you start to drop that and get desperate, it's a scary place to be, and it's not anywhere that I'm willing to delve into.
And
Absolutely.
we've learned from our mistakes. We've learned from the things that haven't worked. We're replacing before before we move on somebody into new position, we replace them now, before they start their new position, those things that make sense. And again, like we kind of talked about earlier, we're promoting from within. So like a lot of those vacancies, like Mindy said, are it's due to the growth. So it's because, hey, we need more floaters. So I'm hiring a new floater in this region because we need more hands on deck. We're opening up our new locations. So we've got, I think we internally promoted 3 new program specialists that were DSPs. So as part of that growth. So we've got, a couple openings for supervisors, again, due to that growth, that are replacing the bigger picture of the assistant directors that we promoted from within. Because we're finding that when we go outside, it's a little bit less successful than we are promoting from within. I think we have had people buy into our process and start as a staff or start as a team lead and work their way up because there is opportunities for growth. I came in personally and I said to the director at the time, I said, hey, I'm hungry. I'm ready. Let's do this. I'm ready to move up, whatever you have for me. And he said, hey, right now we don't have anything, but as soon as we get things moving in this direction and you can grow your site, we can make things happen and we can create positions because we're going to need to. And that's what I did. I grew my site and worked up to this position because I knew and believed in the mission and the fact that we needed to get people serviced. So, hey, there might not be an opportunity right now, but there definitely is going to be with all the growth. And again, investing in those people, being those servant leaders, I think it's really attested to what we've done. All of our assistant directors they all started off with us as staff or program specialists. So it's been really enjoyable.
3 were DSPs when they started. They got promoted to team leads and then program specialists, and now they're ADs. And I just think it speaks volume to what we're doing. We're investing in them, and they are giving their all to continue the mission.
Yeah, I'm really hearing that from what both of you are sharing, that there's significant investment happening. You described the mentorship earlier. How are people first identified? Are they identifying themselves? Kate, sounds like you identified yourself like, hi, pick me, like, hello, give me the path, I'm going to take it, kind of a thing. That's probably not the only way that this happens, but
No.
So is it like, I guess, help me know, how is this first getting identified? I mean, are you training your program specialists, be looking? I mean, is this like part of their job
We're
description?
talking about it regularly, yes. And I think that's some of my favorite success stories is people that never saw themselves as leaders. People that might just be a little bit introverted, but they were amazing DSPs. Our VIPs, we hear from families, the calls I get, this person's so wonderful. Can they just, move in with me? Where did you find them? Can you clone them? They're so amazing. And there are people that don't see that in themselves. They're just genuinely kind, caring, giving people. So talking to them and letting them see how they could lead by example and how their coworkers are already looking to them, given their experience and their rapport with the VIPs. It's just a natural transition to become a mentor, and seeing their excitement in that and seeing them grow and blossom as just people. These are adult men and women who I get to see, not just our VIPs, but our employees grow and blossom and develop their skills and just become leaders that they didn't foresee happen.
Yeah, focusing on their strengths and weaknesses and kind of bringing out that leader in them. That's been awesome. Yeah, some of the best stories are the ones that are thinking about the position that just got posted, but are not sure, and we have to lead them in a direction and make them believe in themselves because we believe in them. That's really been part of this. It's been because not everybody is I'm ready.
No.
Yeah.
It is a rare breed.
They don't make them like me. But it's one of those things that's the having the little Mindys running around and being able to recreate all of those and instill in those good qualities. That's what you want. You want the people that have bought in and that you can grow and foster them through their strengths and weaknesses, and have people that you again brought on as a DSP grow. It's been amazing. And that again, as part of the CARES way, has been the part of the drive, part of the family. It's been really wonderful. And I think that the more and more people buy into that process, they can see they can see the at the end of the tunnel, the end game there. And
Yeah.
it's been nice.
Well, sure. Just like there's the negative cycles, there's also these that can get people, agencies, organizations can kind of get stuck in. If you start to see like all these people, like if you stick around, right? Someone's been there a couple years, and they're like, wait a second, they were a DSP, now they're a program specialist, and this person, like, wait, they were like, it kind of might kind of, you see the positive, right? And then it sort of plants that seed, like, wait, maybe I could step up or something
We
like
try
that.
to highlight those things we do an awards dinner every year and give awards to DSPs, employees in general that have gone above and beyond that year in different areas and highlight the whys. And then during one-on-ones with the employees that maybe aren't stepping up to the plate and doing quite as well, identifying and being honest about the areas they need to grow if they want to grow. And talking about, we could see your strengths. I see that you could do this job for X, Y, and Z reasons, but to do it successfully, you also need to focus on these things over here. And giving them that honest feedback that they deserve to get is so important so that they could identify what their weaknesses are and how they could change them if they want to.
Yeah, giving them those tools. Like I've had a lot of people come in and say, hey, I want to be a team lead, but I don't know where to start. And giving them the little tasks here and there to teach them how to do it, get them the exposure, to give them the delegation of it, and having them step up to the plate when it really matters. Somebody, a lot of these folks that have been promoted have rose to the occasion, and been wonderful assets in a time of need, or just maybe brought again new ideas to the table. I think that has been part of our process, that hey, maybe there is not there's a regulation on program specialists. Maybe we're going to create this position because we need employment specialists, and somebody wants to be a program specialist but isn't qualified due to ODP regulation. We're going to try to get them in that leadership role because of their strengths, based off of their skill set, that we can't quite get them to where they want to be at that program specialist level because of their qualifications. So we are finding those other avenues to be able to still promote from within and take care of them. And again, we got a lot of right people in the right spots to do those things because of what they're doing as a DSP, because of what they're doing as a person. So that's been really nice to also watch, because as much as you want to be able to promote everybody, not everybody's qualified according to ODP.
Sure. Absolutely. I want to circle back to this whole thing about the feedback. Is this happening? What's the context in which it's happening? Is this in one-on-one supervisions with their supervisor? Is this, and how often is that? How often are they having those? Or how do you build that into not just what you naturally do as in your roles, but to build that in throughout the organization?
For all employees, they're having one-on-ones with their supervisors a minimum of twice a year. Now, if it's somebody that we've identified either for good reason or bad reason of we should be meeting more to like develop them in for a next role to kind of groom them for that, or because the performance isn't great, we're meeting much more regularly. But everybody has a minimum of 2 sit downs with their supervisor per year where they can talk about their goals, talk about what's going well, talk about what's not going well. We use them as eval times. One's used for a raise and one's used for a bonus. So there's compensation tied to it as well based on how they do on their evaluations.
And
Okay.
part of I want to talk about at some of the day programs, like our supervisors being on site and being physically available for staff. That's something that we've gotten feedback in the past that maybe they're not available. I think we've really driven home that being available for staff and being there to, hey, I'm having a real bad day, I need you to pick me up, and that I kind of scratch your back, you scratch mine mentality. We've definitely, I think that's been important, and part of our evolution as a company is seeing that there's needed to be more bodies in those leadership types of roles that can fill in those gaps when, hey, I have a program specialist out on vacation and they're not physically going to be present. Now there's an AD like me that can go be at that office and be present for those staff. And that's something that we get overwhelmingly positive feedback now, since we've kind of adjusted the way we do things and evolved from a one director per 6 sites. Now we've got, five assistant directors for 14 sites. It's going in that direction and trying to uphold that standard of care and being available and being on site for those folks. That's really important to them, and that's part of that feedback that we've gotten. And that's why we've kind of evolved in that direction. More folks on the ground is going to need to be more folks in leadership to help that standard be upheld. I think that's really important.
Yeah. Wow, what a story of growth from the humble beginnings of 4 employees up to nearly 100 today. And to hear how they've kept true to their culture and to the values that they're trying to build. Really a lot of great stuff to learn there, and many very practical things that they did. Now, I always try to leave you with some kind of an action move that you could do. Here's my suggestion for today's episode. Consider where you've been listening to your staff and making a change, but I want you to specifically consider how much are they hearing from you about it. If people are wanting something to be different, I think that there's almost I would say it's almost hard to communicate too much about it. So have you communicated about it in the last 2 or 3 weeks? Do they know where things are at with whatever you're implementing, whatever change you're implementing based on their feedback? And if not, I want to encourage you, just make that a regular thing that your staff are hearing how you're addressing whatever their concern is. That should be a frequent part of the conversation. Also, if you enjoyed today's episode, consider doing me a favor, and would you write a review or even just click the star rating on Apple or Spotify, or even posting a comment on the YouTube section. When you do that, it helps other people to find it. It increases its discoverability. Or better yet, you could even text a link to a colleague or friend of yours who would benefit from hearing it as well. And lastly, I want to say this. If you would like to get in on I send out weekly insights and encouragement to leaders in this field of IDD. If you want to be on that, go check out the website, iddleader.com. And on the bottom bar, you can sign up to be part of the mailing list. I've been hearing some tremendous feedback lately on that it's really been encouraging people on a regular basis. So by all means, feel free to sign up for that if you are interested. All right. Well, until next time, here's to you. Keep up the amazing work.